And we are live. Good evening, Internet. Sorry for the late start. I am the Honorable Lord Ulrich Eisenhand. You still can't see me because my laptop does not play nice with Google Hangouts. Late start.
Sorry about that.
And good evening, Internet. Sorry for Alexander, can you please mute that?
I am. I keep hitting. I do this so I can monitor the chat.
Right.
Okay. So welcome to the April 2019 ILOI decision meeting for the Kingdom of Meridies. I am Ulrich Eisenhand, Pen and Herald, and I have a few commenters with me today. So there is room if there are people watching the live stream who feel comfortable enough to do commentary to join us. We still have 5 spots open, so come on in if you want. I'm going to go ahead and have my my commenters introduce themselves. We're going to go from left to right on my screen, starting with Master Alexander.
I'm Alexander Ravenscroft, Stentor Herald Extraordinary, and I've been doing these since the very first one.
All right, next up, Kurt.
Hi, I'm Kurt Bogner. I am the Cipher Person, which is internal submissions.
Okay. Boss Lady, Mistress Falanet.
Oh, well, I thought it was Thorfina. Anyway, hi, I'm Mistress Planet. I am the Beacon Principal Herald once again, and I am seeking my deputy. The letter has gone out, so if you are at all interested, please send me an email with your letter of intent and your SCA and modern resume. Thanks. And next.
Speaking of which, to go on a tiny tangent, Kurt, I actually do need a letter of intent from you if you want to be officially Deputy Pennon. So I will need that.
I will get that
Copy
to you.
Yours truly.
Yes. And then last but not least, Finna.
Hi, I'm Lady Thorfina, Moss Daughter, Baronial Herald for the Barony of Gladdenfeld, located in Nashville, Tennessee.
All right, so we have a pretty big letter this month. And I really do wish I had a few more commenters here because there are some names, especially in here, that I don't feel real comfortable with, that I'd like to have someone with a little more experience with, but hey, we'll make do with what we got. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with item number 1. I believe that is Ari Unigan. I know I'm probably butchering that name because it is Mongolian. We have a new name change and a new badge. So starting with the name, old item, Miran Ingen Donegal, to be retained as alternate name. Both name elements are listed in the document on the documentation and construction of period Mongolian names. According to Bronwyn, it appears to be properly constructed. The little bit of time I had to read the article, I am inclined to agree with her. Do we have anyone else? Any other comments on his name?
For me.
Right, well, if we don't have any other comments or any other issues with it, then we'll go ahead and send it up.
Yep, I would agree.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this kind of stuff.
And commenters at Laurel tend to have... There are commenters at Laurel that I know have far more experience with Mongolian names than me, and they can find any issues if there are any. But I'm going to say that this one's good and send it up. Moving on to the badge. Fieldless, an arrow sustaining a fox couchant regarding argent. I have to agree with Iago's reblazon. Fieldless, a fox couchant regarding a top and arrow festwise reversed argent.
I have only one concern, and this is about the emblazon, and it goes back to a submission I had last year at Gulf Wars, where it was a cat sitting on top of an anvil.
It does overlap the arrow a bit with that front paw. I hadn't noticed that until you started talking, and then I was like, I know exactly what Kurt's going to say, and I went and clicked on and looked at it. So yeah.
So I've already did a digital redraw of it, and I'm kind of moved the kitty cat's paw, or I'm sorry, fox's paw up a little bit, so it is still touching, but it's no longer
overlapping. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Very, very minor. I mean, if you didn't know it before, you would even see the change.
Okay. But other than that, I didn't find any conflicts with it. So we'll go ahead and get that redraw done and send that off to the submitter to get permission to change it. And if they approve, we will send it up.
Sounds good.
All right, moving along to item number 2. Evelyn Dale, new device.
Evelyn is watching on YouTube, and so I will be able to transmit any commentary she has, or if we have any questions.
Okay.
See, a sensible interruption.
So the device as submitted is Perchevron Argent and Azure, a Demi Pegasus Conturni Argent. I found one that was kind of close-ish, but nowhere near close enough to actually conflict. The one that I found was Verd, a Demi Unicorn Rampant Conturni Argent. We get a DC for the field and a DC for changing a unicorn to a Pegasus because of the wings. So,
okay.
Does the blazon need to be changed since it's not necessarily a forced move?
It is a forced change because it is an Argent charge, and the other half of the field is Argent.
Okay.
Since it is the same color as the other half of the field, it is a forced movement.
Okay.
If it was or, then you would have to.
Right. Okay.
Even though it would be low contrast, it would still be technically doable.
So smart.
I try. Sometimes I just let gibberish fall out, and it sounds intelligent, and I get lucky. But
and we don't need to worry that this is cooped because Demi handles it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Excellent.
We would have to specify it if it were a Demi. Oh, what's the ripped one?
Erased?
Yeah. If it were Demi erased, we'd have to specify that, wouldn't we?
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think so. All right, so that one looks good. Iago and Lucian also didn't find conflicts with it, so we are going to send it up.
Yay.
So moving on to number 3, Evelyn Dale's new badge.
Ooh.
A serpent-headed camel leopard with natural leopard spots on the forequarters, sable, passant argent. I agree with Iago that we can probably simplify the tincture a little. Specify words. Simplify the blazon a little bit. There we go.
I like this.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's awesome.
So azure, a serpent-headed camel leopard, passant, argent, spotted sable, because those are the default spots for a camel leopard.
Gotcha.
Which, for those of you playing at home, a camel leopard is a giraffe.
Yeah.
Because the Europeans didn't think giraffes were real.
Do you blame them?
Not really.
Oh my. Well, that's a new one for me.
So, I didn't find any conflicts with it. No one else leaving comments found any conflicts with it. Anybody in chat here have any issues with it?
I have a question and a comment. The comment is going to be that the submitter got this from the Arthurian questing beast and did a lot of her own research.
Okay.
And just as a point of clarification, are these correctly drawn camel leopard spots?
Let me look at Miss Home real quick.
The reason I'm asking is because they appear voided, and I think it would just be an artist note if any question came up, or we could just modify them by filling them in.
Oh yeah, they look more rounded.
Yeah, this is not a big, I don't think this is a big deal. I just think it's a little deal. But
Right.
Yeah, because they are leopard spots and not camel leopard spots. So let me. So I guess we will have to specify leopard spots. Yeah, because leopard spots are the ones that are kind of voided in the middle, whereas camel leopard spots are just like big irregular blobs.
Gotcha.
I'm asking whether she wants leopard or giraffe spots. This is one of the advantages to actually watching the commentaries.
Yes.
If something comes up, we can ask you right then, and you can see what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Leopard spots.
Okay.
So
then we will specify leopard spots in the blazon,
which is actually in the submitted blazon. So Iago's modification is valid, but doesn't get specific in this one case.
Yes.
And that'll clear up. It may be that Wreath will change that back, but I think this resolves the question if they look at this and wonder. Because it's not...
Since it's already a chimeric animal, I don't think that there will be an issue with that.
Well, what I'm looking at is the way that Iago's new blazon basically says it should be it should just be a bunch of round sables, which I had the name for a second ago.
Pellety?
Pellety. You would expect it to kind of look pellety at that point. That's not what the submitter wants. It's not what she put in her blazon. It's not what she put on her blazon.
Right.
So calling them natural brings the blazon and the blazon together and gets the submitter what they wanted.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Which Iago had no way of knowing.
No.
All right. So we will go ahead and send the badge up as well. Moving right along to number 4, Christopher Edwards of Leicester. New name change and new badge. Starting off with the name. 12th century England most important. Christopher documented to Withycombe. 1201 to 1203. Edwards to Rainey and Wilson. Dated 1279. They desire the locative of Leicester. I can't remember. This is a Gulf War submission, so I don't remember if we were actually able to find documentation, valid documentation of Leicester with that spelling.
Leicester.
Sorry, yes.
That's all right.
Yeah.
We've all done it.
This is one of those cases where all of a sudden English turns into French and you don't pronounce the way it's spelled.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you keep conquering it. Their language invades.
Well, to be completely honest with you, the French did it first.
No, they didn't. And Normans aren't French.
That's debatable.
Yeah. Okay, German. We'll talk about it later.
All right. So, Iago commented that the registered name has the thorns instead of D's for the current registered name. So I will correct that in the next one.
Okay.
I didn't find any conflicts for it. Anyone else find anything?
It is a major stretch, so this is not an actual issue. We're talking about the name, aren't we?
Yes.
Yes.
Never mind.
Yeah, we haven't.
We haven't gotten on to the.
I was a step holder. Never mind.
That's okay.
I'll get to it when we get to badge.
Yep.
So if we don't have anyone with any issues for it,
I don't see any issues. It looks like he's got the right documentation.
okay. So then we will go ahead and send it up as well.
I did find in my English surname book Leicester. So.
What's the dates that you've got on it?
Let's see here. I've got 1287.
That'll work.
Yep.
That'll work.
Yep.
Is that a locative, Finna?
Say what, sir?
Is that a locative?
This is my English dictionary thing, and it's got a lot of the things. It says Leicester, but it's a form of Leicester. So the difference is only an LEY versus LEI, but the thing itself actually in the thing starts LEI in the name.
Well, I was wondering if it's a locative because this is a locative form of the name.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a surname like we think of it.
It says it's from Leicester.
Yeah, but I've got that. Hold on.
So the thing with locative surnames for SCA registration, as long as you can document that the location existed with some variant on that name in period, you can use the modern spelling of that place name.
Yes.
So I know that this is the modern spelling of Leicester. So as long as we can document that there was a town or city called Leicester in this period, then we are good.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the very last sentence in here says from Leicester.
Yeah, I've got the same book.
Oh, good.
So you can see the earlier ones are earlier spellings of it, and like Hugo D means that that's a locative. The D's are French. When you get to Henry Leicester at the 1381, those are surnames.
But day usually means of, so.
Yes, but that's what this is.
That's what
those spellings are different. So as long as this is a major city in England, so it was there. It's not like Milton Keynes. Milton Keynes is a large city that didn't exist until the 70s.
Right. So can I get a date and the page number, please?
Right.
Yes, this book is English Surnames, page 276. Nicholas de Leicester, Leicester, which is an earlier version of LEI, is 1287. Does that help any?
Yep. Should.
Yep, that'll work.
All right.
All right. So there we have finished our documentation for the name, and it looks good, so we will send it up. Moving on to the badge. Azure on a cross snowy ore voided between 4 trowels argent and Ark of the Covenant ore. Yes, I agree with Iago that Ark of the Covenant needs to be capitalized because it is a proper noun.
Yep.
Other than that, I didn't find any conflicts for it. This went through offsite Herald's Point support at Gulf Wars. They didn't find any conflicts with it.
Y'all realize this is Raiders of the Lost Ark, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the first thing I thought of.
Okay.
Yep.
Still good.
That was my comment. I'm done.
Still
Okay.
a good movie.
So if we don't have any other issues with it,
Other than capitalizing that part.
other than capitalizing the proper noun,
Yep. I think it's a nice piece of heraldry for a badge.
it's a little busy for my taste, but
Yeah, but
I'm
still.
not the one that has to reproduce it, so
Yep.
I'm okay with it. So yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
it's certainly eye-catching.
Yes, and you could probably tell that from a distance without an issue.
Yeah. All right, moving along to item number 5. Kieran McDougall, new device, Azure, a narwhal, Naiant Conturney, and in base a Compass Rose Argent.
I completely agree that it's blurring the line between primary and secondary there. I mean, from the blazon, it sounds like she wants the primary charge to be the narwhal and the thing in base to be, as opposed to impale. So
Gotcha.
I created 2 digital redraws of it, one of which made them both very clearly co-primaries, and one which made the narwhal clearly primary and the compass rose much smaller down there in the base. And I guess we can chuck them both to the submitter and see if they are appropriate, see which one they like the best, I guess.
And I may be wrong, but I believe that if my memory serves me correctly, that they wanted the narwhal to be embowed, not Naiant. They wanted it to, in which case it would need to be more
bendy,
bendy.
Curved more again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I do that.
Which would allow you to make it a little bit bigger.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
and then the compass
it's that great
rose
big
smaller.
pointy. It's that great big pointy horn on the end of it that really limits the size potential of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, in any case, this is going to need a redraw to clarify that.
Yes.
Because as it is, it's really blurring that line.
Okay.
Between whether they're co-primary, in which case the compass rose would need to get shifted up a little bit, whether it's primary and secondary, in which case the compass rose needs to be a little bit smaller and the narwhal needs to be a little bit bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And then whether she wants Naiant or embowed.
Okay.
Which, you know, that's just coming from what little bit I remember from the consultation tenet Gulf Wars. I may be remembering incorrectly. But
Okay.
and then there is also a step from period practice for the use of a compass rose, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but that should be the only oddity.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically a pen to redraw to clarify?
Yeah. And if we can get it clarified without doing a whole lot of, without doing any substantial changes to it,
Right.
then I can, if we get that done in time, then I can send it up on the LOI.
Okay.
If we have to make major changes to it, like adding an element or removing an element, which I don't think we will, then it'll have to get returned and resubmitted.
I can do this.
But as it is,
tomorrow.
just adjusting shapes, adjusting sizes a little bit, and adjusting the positioning a little bit should be minor enough changes that we can do it without a return and resub. So I will go ahead and pend that for now. And then we will go ahead and move along to item number 6. Constance Sackham. Sorry?
Nothing. Wait.
All right. So Constance Sackham, new name.
Looks like a really good period name.
Did we have a date on Constance? There's not one listed here.
That's an old one. I don't think that'll be a problem. Let me see. I've got English.
Looks like names from medieval Suffolk down in the name comments.
I'm finding it in 1500s on DMNES. But Frida was able to document both of them to one of Arianwi's articles.
Mm-hmm.
So both of them to the same article. So.
And they're wanting just the sound to be closest to Constance, not necessarily time period, correct? That's what I'm reading?
Yes.
Yes, but I mean, if we're able to document both names to the same article.
Yep.
Withicombe has Constance is introduced into England at the Norman Conquest, but does not give a date.
Huh. Okay, so 1066. Okay.
When I was on DMNES, the earliest that I was able to find it with that spelling in England was 1564, but the name itself goes back to looks like 1377, 1349.
1273?
Sorry?
I have 1273.
Okay.
Ooh.
That'll work, yeah.
You want me to scan this out to you?
If you would, that would be great, yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
See, I'm not a complete loser.
we keep Alexander for his books.
He's got enough of those.
All right, so that gives us
Enough, Doc.
that gives us both names well within the time frame allowed. Yeah, 11th century England. So that's within 200, 300 years.
Yep.
We can have within 5. We could probably get them closer if we really wanted to. I just see here. I was just looking in Arianwi's article.
Right.
I was just trying to see if there were any dates on them, and I'm not seeing dates on this article, which is the only reason why I would wait. Dates are given in regnal years. For example, 1 RI is the first year of the reign of Richard I. Or, yeah. So Constance is the reign of 4th year King James. And Saxon is from see here, Richard I. Those are pretty far apart, if I recall correctly.
I'm sorry, which two?
Richard I and King James. That's what, 500 years?
Oh,
600
yeah.
years?
1180s to mid
Late 1500s, right? Wait, no. Yeah. Trying to remember, James was right after Elizabeth I, right?
Yes, because he was King of Scotland. He's James VI of Scotland, first of England.
Yeah. Wow, that is a span.
Yeah. So that article probably not so much, but we have found them within a time period that is allowable. With 1270s for Constance and 11th century for, which would be 1000s for Saxon. So that name is going to be good. I'll add the documentation from Alexander when I get it.
Working on it.
We'll send it on up.
I'm doing it right now. Don't fire me.
Well, you're fine. I can't do anything with it until after the meeting anyway. So. All right. So moving along to item number 7.
Okay.
Christiana Hunter, resub device. Or a falcon striking contourney, maintaining in its claws a tulip slipped fesswise, a bordure embattled gules.
Hey, I remember this one.
I'm glad she resubmitted.
Yep.
Yeah, and I would agree. I have to say that it is much clearer than the original one that got returned.
Mm-hmm.
It's much less busy, and I personally I like it better than the first one.
Right, I do like this. This is very nice.
I had to click through to the image. In this distant view, it almost looks like the tulip is conjoined with the bordure, but there is a little gap there on the stem end.
Yep.
Should be all right. I didn't get a chance to conflict check this. Did we have anyone conflict check this and get any?
I think it was done on the offsite, but I can do a quick one right now.
Okay.
Assuming my network works.
Nora, it's okay. We're doing heraldry.
Yeah, she's not real happy tonight.
Oh.
My cursory look here is saying it's clear.
Yeah, that's good. That's cool. That's cool.
Constance is sent on.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, that looks. It's gonna look good.
Okay, excellent.
All right, so we're not finding any conflicts, so we're going to call it good and send it up. Number 8. Dionysia Apollodorou. New name and new device. Starting off with the name. This one I know cleared offsite consultation because this was another Gulf Wars one.
Okay.
The OS does change to OU in the genitive form.
Okay. What are they wanting? Submitter. No desire as to
Is a Greek name.
Okay.
Classical Greek name.
Yeah, just basically wants classical Greek. Okay.
Give a name plus patronymic.
Gotcha.
And Maradona provided additional documentation.
How nice.
So.
Hey, there's Naz.
Hello.
All right.
My microphone is apparently not working.
Oh, we can hear you.
Yeah, I can
We can hear you now.
I'm getting no audio.
We can hear you.
I can tell that you're using push to talk. So for your outgoing.
I know this problem. Fine.
Hey, there's Torch.
Out. And then.
Great. I can now hear everybody.
Excellent.
Yes. Cool. Sorry about that. I got double and triple done.
Okay.
All right.
Giving her that note.
Yeah, we are currently on the name on item number 8.
8.
Let me go. Let's diagnose. Why is he a lame god? Hamilton.
These both of these names were pulled from the Lexicon of Greek Personal Names, which are they are all personal names.
Gotcha.
They're not names that are only for mythological figures.
Gotcha.
That was something that they specifically did when they put the lexicon together.
Gotcha. I kind of figured.
we've used LGPN for documenting Greek names in the past.
Okay.
So, and according to Maradonna's comment, the time frame for these two names does overlap.
Okay.
Dionysia is 323 to 31 BC, and Apollodorus is 450 BC to 221 AD. So they do overlap. So we are good on time frame.
All right, but they're wanting to use the spelling up above, or
Yes,
does the spelling
that's
have
because the OS on Apollodorus turns to an OU when you use it as a genitive, which is how you have to do it for a patronymic.
Okay.
It's basically Dionysia, daughter of Apollodorus.
Okay, even though the submitter has no desire as to gender.
Well, it's it might be a masculine given name. I don't think so, because the A ending usually indicates a feminine name.
I gotcha, but they just—that's one of the things that is listed is that
it's a feminine given name. Apollodorus is a masculine given name that is being turned into a patronymic.
Okay. All right, just making sure we're covering all the bases.
Yep. So the name appears to be constructed correctly. Documents check out. So we are going to go ahead and send it up. Moving on to the device. Argent, a satyr statent sable maintaining a poppy ghouls slipped and moved to Bert.
Well, it was conflict checked off-site.
Okay.
And while I also did a conflict check on it while I was there too. Looks like they didn't. Looks like the comment is not related to conflict checking at all. It was just style discussion on the blazing.
Humanoid monsters. Okay, statin up front by default.
So yeah, if I remember correctly, because I think this is the default posture for a satyr. This is the posture that is shown on Mistholm, if I remember correctly. Or someone is unhappy.
Yeah.
Poor Nora. That's okay. She'll learn to love conflict checking like we all do.
One day.
I do want to point out that there could conceivably be a question with the name and device combination. However, where Dionysus, the Greek god of wine, was known to deal with satyrs and the rest, Hermes is actually,
That is true, yes.
Hermes is actually the one who fathers Pan. And I don't believe that the connection between them is so great that this creates a claim that we would need to be concerned about.
No, I don't.
I don't think so either.
I think that is just a fun device using, iconography from Greek mythology with a Greek device, with a Greek name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think otherwise we're getting into obscure elements of Greek mythology at that point.
And this is certainly the interaction between Dionysus and the satyrs was way too minor for you to say. It's not like saying your first name is Athena, here's my badge, it's an owl.
Right,
Gotcha.
exactly.
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Okay, I'm not seeing conflicts, so we should be good here.
Yeah.
All right. They're talking about the blazon, though. Iago is, and so is Michael.
I think they're just like basically debating on whether to
The
include
posture is correct.
affronty or stantant or what.
Gotcha.
I'm going to send it up as it is, and let Cormac change it to what he wants. Because I'm not sure which one of these two individuals is correct, if either of them are correct. So
let Reese decide.
So I am going to, because there is nothing stylistically wrong with it and it doesn't violate any of the rules, I am just going to send it up and let Cormac tell me what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't think this is affronty though, because he's only turned to see the tail for identification purposes. So I think this would be the default Seder statement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because all those technical things are important.
Yes.
Okay.
We are going to just go ahead and send that one up. All right, moving along to item number 9.
And I didn't see this one, but this one with Athena would be a problem.
Is it Dwegan?
No, it's Dugan.
Dugan?
It sounds. It's Dugan. It's just because it's Gaelic.
It's Dugan McDowell, basically,
Dugan
right?
McDough.
Dugan McDoug. Okay. New name and new device. Let's start off with the name. Docs seem to check out.
Brian.
I like the double treasure. We're not on that yet. Never mind.
No, we're not on the device yet, Alexander.
Sorry. I keep jumping.
We have to do the name first.
Name first.
You can't have that name. I can't pronounce it on a scroll. How's that?
Well, I could, and I'm usually very bad at Gaelic.
How to pronounce it. Torch knows how to pronounce it, and that's the important thing, right?
That's because Torch has actually been to Ireland.
Point.
Now I can't hear her. Oh my. Okay.
All right. So, the names both check out. The docs both check out.
Okay.
I didn't find any conflicts with them. Anyone else find any issues? I think Kurt's frozen up again.
No, I'm just.
At least on my screen.
I was pondering.
Okay. Because I didn't see you move for a while, so I thought that you'd frozen up again.
No, I'm just in the process of doing the conflict check for the device.
Ah, gotcha.
Okay. So if we don't have any issues with the name, we're going to go ahead and send the name up. Moving on to the device, or an owl and a double treasure vert.
I like it.
I do too.
Yeah. Double treasure is a good way to clear a lot of conflicts.
That's my go-to, as opposed to like a.
It is stylish and pretty.
But I have somebody submitting, or I'll register in 2013, or an owl and an Orlay vert.
Yeah, changing an oral to a double treasure, I don't think that is enough. That's only one DC.
So it's only one, yeah.
So I think we have a conflict with that.
Uh-oh.
If they maybe owl contourny,
A different posture?
Yeah. If they flip the owl contourny, that would give us a DC for orientation.
Yeah, that would do it. Just from looking at what I see right now, that is like, here's one. It's like I've got 5 criteria in. I got a matching score of 5, and it's this exact,
Gotcha. So possible conflict. So the one DC is for the tresser, double tresser. But if we change the posture, then it would give him the 2 DCs he needs.
If you change the posture to Conturni, you would have an SC at that point.
Gotcha. Well,
so that is the only change that we can do without return and resub.
Right.
And anything else would be adding an element or removing an element.
Right.
Which would be more than we can do.
Right.
So we'll get in contact with the submitter, ask if they want to do that, or if they want to do a little bit of a rework and submit it again. So if they're good with it, then we'll flip the owl and run with it. If not, then we will return it and let them resub it.
Okie dokie.
All right, so moving along to number 10, Elizabeth de Porta, new name change and new badge. So starting off with the name.
Yes, I'm starting. Okay. Sorry, I just had a moment.
I see. Okay, this is point. Oh gosh.
What?
Uh-oh.
Did we lose Pennon? Have we lost Pennon?
We might have. I don't hear him.
Sorry, what?
Oh, there he is.
Oh,
sorry, I was reading ahead.
Yep. So basically, Cypher is saying that the documentation and the name do not match.
Well, she meant what was written in her documentation was for Elizabeth. Let me bring up her documentation. Okay. It says 12th century Latinized French Frankish name Elizabeth. Dictionary of DMNES. Elizabeth dates from a Latinized French context. It very well could have been a mistype, or it was handwritten, a mishandwritten on the document. But I mean, she's documenting Elizabeth and put in the name to be submitted Elizabeth. So I just want to point that out.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's a matter of whether or not the S is the way she wants it, or the Z, which is what the documentation proves. Correct?
I believe that the documentation is the S.
Well, looking at the submitted form now, it says this is, it says Elizabeth.
L-I-Z.
Well, the only one that ends B-E-Z that is in this article is E-L-I-S-A.
Gotcha.
So, I guess we'll have to contact the submitter and ask which form she will prefer, just to make sure that we send up.
Right.
I mean, the documentation only supports ILOI SA. So if she wants it with a Z, then we're going to have to find other documentation for it. But anyway, so we're going to pen that for now until we get confirmation from the. Other than that, the name looks good.
Mm-hmm.
So, moving along to the badge. Fieldless, a Pegasus attired of a unicorn's horn, salient regarding ghouls, crined, winged, and horned ore. As Iago points out, there is a precedent dated to 1992 that we can't have pegacorns. I do, if I'm reading this conversation correctly.
Precedent explicitly barring them. There were mentions.
The precedent is the full size emblazoned shows a winged unicorn, not a unicornate Pegasus. The latter is disallowed as a 20th century fantasy representation of the form. Don't know what. Okay, that's kind of confusing.
Yeah, it's essentially what I found was there was a discussion back in '91 about whether we can allow Pegasi, whether we can allow horse hybrids to have unicornate horns, just not horses. And it's like horses, no, horse-like critters, maybe, but I couldn't find any. Like they said, we'll do some more research, and then I didn't find any responses until Iago found in '92 that no more unicornate Pegasi, so apparently they decided. And so I had to do a redraw. I reached out to the submitter, letting him know that there was a possibility of problem with putting up a Pegasus with a unicorn horn. And they, at the time, I hadn't seen Iago's comment.
Right.
So I said, there could be a problem with it. Are you okay with submitting it anyway and it had potentially coming back, or do you want me to send this one up as a unicorn, cloven hooves and all, with the chin beard, but with wings? They said at the time, I'm okay with taking the chance. Now, since then, we got more information that says, well, we don't want to take a chance because it's going to bounce. So I emailed her again. I hadn't got a response back. Now, I could only assume she wants it to pass as opposed to bounce. Before Ulrich has to finalize the LOI.
So I missed that last little bit.
Yep.
Okay.
We heard you assume she doesn't want it to bounce, and then it jumped to LOI. So there's about 10 seconds in the middle there that we missed.
Okay. Essentially, I let her know that there's a potential it could bounce. Then I found out that it definitely will bounce. So at the time, she was, it's okay, let's go ahead and try it with the unicornate Pegasus. But now that we know that that will bounce, I redrew it as a Pegasi unicorn with Pegasus wings instead of, I don't know. Anyway, I reached out to her again, hadn't got a response back yet on whether do you still want to send it up even though we know it'll bounce, or do you want to send it up as a unicorn with Pegasus wings? Did you get that?
My question is, at what point does it stop becoming a Unicorn 8 Pegasus and it starts being a Pegasus winged unicorn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if it's got the cloven hooves, it's got the lion's tail, it's got the chin beard, and the horn, that's a unicorn. And we could slap wings on just about any critter out there. I don't know of a precedent to say we can't put wings on a unicorn, only that we can't put a horn on a Pegasus.
Gotcha. And the Pegasus doesn't have the tail and the chin and the...
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I see where you're going now, Kurt.
Well, it's minor, but it's there.
Yeah, because otherwise I was going to say it feels like we're rules lawyering this.
It really is, yes.
It really is. We're rules lawyering this.
It's just, I mean, you know, with the emblazoned, the new drawing that I did in the comments below has all of the standard unicorn features of a heraldic unicorn plus wings.
Mm-hmm.
That's
and
basically
the medieval minds thought of a unicorn. They did not see a horse with a horn.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so I guess we will also pend the badge for now until we hear back from her on whether she wants to attempt to send it up changed, or if she wants to
start all over,
withdraw it and try again. Yes, Alexander.
So I followed Michael Gerard's link.
Okay.
It says is listed in DMNES.
Yes.
And if you look at the chat, you'll see it's there.
Yes, I followed it through, and I said that was how it was there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I said it wasn't there with a Z.
With the Z, it's an S. Yeah.
But there's a Z ending one as well.
Yes, but the Z ending one doesn't have a Z in the middle. It has an S in the middle.
The paperwork, the documentation does. How she has it on the form, she has a Z, right, Kurt?
Yeah.
she has an S in the I want to submit this and a Z in the documentation. And I'm
Well,
just that.
if she has an S in the how I want to submit this and there's an S in the documentation, then it's just a typo on her form and we can change the documentation.
Yes.
Right.
Well, in that case, I was misunderstanding what you were saying.
Right.
There is no issue with it. We can send it up.
Okay.
So I will change that to the name being good.
Okay.
Okay. I feel better now.
Now that we're all on the same page.
Yes, now that we're all on the same page. Because I thought she wanted the double Z. Leizabbez.
Yes.
Not
I
S-A.
am still going to pend the badge until we hear back from her.
I agree.
Wise.
Very wise. Yay.
All right, so names going up, badges getting pended. Moving on to number 11. Hunter von Nuremberg. Hunter is mundane name allowance. Von Nuremberg is locative that we can document to period. I think this one's pretty cut and dry as long as we don't have any conflict. I don't think we will with him having to use mundane name allowance to get that given name.
It was offsite checked, but I will do another check real quick. Okay.
Okay, and two
No
her
results. Good.
awesome.
Yeah, I'm only finding one other registered name that is Hunter something.
Okay.
So I think we are good with that one. So we will go ahead and send that up. Moving along to number 12. Eutychale filius Argentoxi? I know I am probably butchering that.
Tacoxy, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Argentoxi, okay. Let's see.
Masculine name.
This looks like Taryn had a hand in it. We're not doing this. Sorry.
So it's a Cornish given name and but it is a Celtic Cornish given name. I can't tell, the link doesn't work.
Eutychale.
Let me see if I can see if I can let Morcelus. Nope. So I'm not entirely sure that is actually how it's supposed to be spelled, because I'm not getting any hits putting it into Morcelus.
Okay.
If it's on St. Gabriel, if it's on the St. Gabriel site, it should come up.
And neither of the name links seem to be working, by the way.
Yeah.
I can share my screen if you want to try to read the documentation that was attached.
Quite all right. Welsh, Cornish, and Breton names. We'll just go the. There it is. Okay, I found the article.
Yay.
It's supposed to be an I, not a U. IUDICAEL. And I am finding it here in the Index of Celtic and Uncertain Names.
You are correct. Looking at the submission form, it is IUDICAEL. I would have to blame that on autocorrect, but I don't think autocorrect could have any idea how to spell that either.
All right, so.
Eutychale, okay.
And I'm not sure about using
Aphelius?
Yeah, I'm not sure about using the Roman, the Latin patronymic in the middle of this Celtic name. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see that working somehow. I can't see that being an appropriate construction given Celts and Romans.
Well, they definitely had contact.
Yeah, they had contact, but you know.
I mean, if anybody was going to write a name down, it would have been Latinized. I don't believe the Celts had much of a writing system, did they? I'm not familiar, but that's a little bit earlier period than I'm used to dealing with. So.
I mean, I can talk to somebody quickly who is a early Celtic language expert and find out.
That would be.
All right, let me ping her on Facebook and see if I can get a hold of her.
And the spelling for that, for the patronymic, may also be off, because I'm not getting any hits. I'm not getting any hits putting it into Google. So
Wow.
So I'm.
Well, I guess in the defense of the person who wrote this, they were a doctor, and
I resemble that remark. Really,
their handwriting.
I resemble that remark.
I think I found our article.
Oh, for Arjun Taxi?
Yeah, the O is supposed to be an A.
Okay.
So it's asnc.cam.ac.uk/personal names.
Ah.
That's pretty good detective work there.
I try.
Succeed.
And I don't get any hits. Trying to see if I can figure out how to Frankenstein this thing together. Aha! I found it.
Yeah.
ARGENTOKOXOS. That was close.
Otaxis?
No, the IS on the end is supposed to be an OS.
OS, okay. Arjun.
Argentocoxos.
Coxos, okay.
You make it genitive with the changing the OS to an I.
Possibly. I don't know enough about if it would be.
So he's trying to put a Cornish name with a Celtic name.
A Latinized.
For Silver Leg.
Yeah.
Okay.
Argento.
Yeah, I got that part.
That's because you're clever.
Silver something.
So yeah, I think I feel like we've had an issue with that before, with trying to combine Celtic and Latin name elements.
Gotcha.
I'm thinking that if I remember correctly, Arlen's name, Arlen McBlair, whenever we tried putting it in, we had a Celtic given name and a Latinized surname, and they took issue with it.
Okay.
And we ended up having to resubmit it. I could be wrong on that. I could be misremembering, but I just feel like that is the case.
Well, at least you've got the first name, the first part of the name, at least documentable.
But I can document the name elements now.
Right.
That
But
is
I
true.
don't think they can be combined. I think they're too. It just doesn't seem right for Cornish and Celtic, and Latinized Celtic at that.
Yeah.
Well, there were Celts in Cornwall.
Well,
So
yeah, I know.
Well, I mean Cornish would be a Celtic
Right.
variant at that particular time.
Right.
Here.
But it's the
This is
Latinizing of it.
This is. Well, actually, no. This is 10th century. But so, according to Cena, with Cornish between 550 and 1100, the language groups that we can combine it with are Dutch, French, Gaelic, and Scandinavian.
Okay.
So, I mean, I would hate to return it incorrectly.
Right.
I'm not finding anything to support using a Latin surname, a Latin patronymic with a Celtic name. So here's what I will do. I will pend it for now, and I will email Alice. I'll email Pelican and ask her if we can do this.
Right.
If she says yes, I'll send it up. If not, then I'll return it.
Okay. Sounds like a good plan.
So let's go ahead and take a gander at this device while we're here. Per Saltier, Prepare, and Argent, Freddy counterchanged. Gosh, this thing's busy.
Did Karen help with this?
Not that I'm aware of.
No, not that we know.
No,
I know that
Karen didn't actually spend any time in the tent at Gulf Wars.
No, he was being a.
He was busy. He was busy helping run the store.
Yep. The submitter came up with this all on their own.
Okay.
Well, it's sensible, simple, and I disagree with Lion's Heart. I think it's close. It's okay to send up.
I also agree. I mean, if you move the line of partition a little bit, you would still recognizably tell it was a fret.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I mean, as busy and eye crossing as it is, it is still good.
Yep.
And I don't think that line of division matters.
No, it doesn't. Because,
in comparison with the lathes, I mean.
I mean, even if the line of division doesn't run through the middle of one of them, it is still identifiable as Freddy.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, well then hopefully, since we all agree the device should go up, let's work on that name and see
let's hope that the name clears up.
Right.
So
now
so I don't have to return the device just because I had to bounce the name.
Right.
And they would have figured out because there is an unofficial award in the mid realm called a Purple Freddy, which is what the Purple Fred is one of their service awards, and if it's given to a group, it's referred to as a Purple Freddy.
Gotcha.
Okay.
But I don't think that's sufficient to stop it. They've never.
No, I wouldn't think so because
Okay.
Yeah.
So moving along to item number 13.
Yay!
John LeMailer resub device. I really hope this works because this is, I think, the 4th year in a row that we've had him come in and we try to get this for him at Gulf Wars. So per pale, Bari indented, azure and argent, a pale and in sinister, a tower sable. Iago, I agree with him that it needs to be density and not indented. Indented is what you do to ordinaries.
I think the pale saves it from the appearance of marshalling.
Yes. And it also clears up the reason for the previous return, which was, what was it? Sections of the divided field have same base tincture.
Right.
Identifiability of the line of division. So it fixes the issues that it had. We didn't find any conflicts for it at Gulf Wars when we checked.
I actually like the look of it.
Yeah, it looks sharp. I like it.
Mm-hmm. I do.
So we are going to send it up and hope that it works this time.
Yeah.
Yay!
All right, moving along to item number 14.
Ah, Master Kevin.
Master Kevin, new household name. Kevin Errol. Company of St. Julian. It does follow the if I remember correctly, the common household pattern of company of saint's name.
Right.
Yep.
We have documented Saint Julian as a period saint, so there shouldn't be any issue with this.
Okay.
I don't know if we need to worry about the translation from San Germo because St. Julian is a very early saint, so he would have been known in English and translated, but if the documentation works, it works.
Right. I think we're okay.
Okay.
So we are going to go ahead and send that up.
Hello.
Who's beeping?
That was me. I'm pausing.
Okay, that's all right. I'm just making sure that it wasn't me.
No. Somebody just messaging me. They didn't realize I'm in chat.
Okay. All right. So moving along to item number 15. Kenbish, son of Kenbish. New name change and new badge.
Yeah, okay, he's going Mongolian.
Interestingly enough, that name means nobody, but it appears to actually be a Mongolian name as well. See, I commented on the name first. However, do we have any non-handwritten documentation on this? Because I mean, I see his, but he's given us some references. Yes. But for unusual references, don't we want the actual pages and copies?
See, work of science fiction and probably not acceptable source for documentation. That's from Marel.
Yeah, well, I mean, in the handwritten note that's scanned in, he says, "Here's where I found this," but what he does is gives us titles and authors,
and he doesn't give us pages.
Or the words
you know,
themselves.
actual.
Right, I know. I'm reading the from Merriweather. Father's name plus genitive plus. It can be documented, then this and this submitted can be used condition so long as the genitive suffix is correctly added.
And I agree with Iago that as long as it is a literal translation of whatever patronymic marker would be used in Mongolian, that we can register son of in English as a name element here.
Right.
The only issue is we don't have a copy of the documentation that he is using to verify that it is good documentation.
Right.
So, unfortunately, I think I may end up having to return this contingent on getting that documentation.
Gotcha. What has Frida got? Let's see.
That she couldn't find it
Gotcha.
in the documentation that she had.
Gotcha. Because the only other person I know who had in Meridies that had some Mongolian documentation and had a really good list of names was Baras Bayan down in Osprey.
Yeah, if somebody could ping him, I don't have his contact information.
Let me see if I can get him on Messenger.
And I'm looking at the second reference that he's got in there.
Oh,
because I think
could it be? Boy. There you go.
So I don't know if I'm beating a dead horse or not, but I'm not convinced about the academic rigor of these of some of these references.
I'm not either.
Yeah, I mean, the On the Trail of Genghis Khan, an epic journey, is basically an adventurer's travelogue. So
see if he's online and if he could get on.
And I can't find Mongolian traditions at a glance on Google anywhere.
And another issue is it's in the submission here as Kenbish with an E, but in his documentation it's Kunbish with a U.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I hate to do it, but I may just have to return it for insufficient documentation.
Yeah, and the third image is a
let me see if I can get him. Hang on.
Fiction.
Could be band practice right now. And with guitars and all that going, he might not hear his phone.
Jacques is calling him.
Ah.
Jacques couldn't stay on the call and popped over to the
Oh, okay.
YouTube.
Good. Tell Jacques thank you. Not BB. Ah, he's seen it.
All right, so let's go ahead and check the badge while we're waiting to hear back on the name here.
Okay, yeah. Go on the badge and I'll see what he says.
Moving along to the badge, profess as you're an or, 2 hare's heads erased respectant argent.
Stylistically, it's fine.
Stylistically, it's fine. I didn't find any conflicts with it. I really hope that we can clear up this name because, I mean, it's a good badge. Which, I mean, he has a registered name.
He
so
does.
We can actually advance the badge.
Right.
We just have to change the name on the item here to his actual registered name to send it up.
Isn't that how it would go anyway? Because the primary name would have everything registered to itself as well as alternate names.
Yeah. Ever since Oscar got transferred over to the new server, it's been kind of wonky on how name changes work. It's on how they're entered.
I was just asking for the technical technical rules.
Yes, it would all be registered under his registered name, and then after the alternate name passed, or after the name change passed, then the submitted name for the name change becomes the primary, and everything shifts over to that.
Okay, thank you.
Let's see. Let me see if I can't get a copy of this. He wants to know where he got the name Kunbish.
I have also asked Wu for assistance. She is going to look and see if she can find anything.
Ah, come on.
All right, so
if you guys want to move on and let me work on this.
Yeah, we're going to move on, and we'll come back to this if
that's fine.
All right, so the badge will go up under his current registered name, and we will move along to item number 16. Kurt Alamanza. New name and new device.
And Jacques is the submitting herald. He's still on YouTube.
Okay.
Okay. 16. So Almanza is mundane name allowance. Kurt, we have documented to Nuremberg, 1497. The name checks out. Or the docs check out. I didn't find any conflicts. Anyone else find any issues with the name? Nope. Okay, well then the name will go up. Moving on to the device. Perbend, Azure, and Ermine, a polypus counterchanged. I don't see anything wrong with it stylistically. It got conflict checked at Gulf Wars. They didn't find anything at Gulf Wars. And they may or may not take issue with the partially obscured ermine spots, but I think that would be more of an artist note than a grounds for return, because there are enough ermine spots visible to tell that that is an ermine field.
Yeah.
So I'm going to call the device good unless anyone has any issues with it.
It looks like a more modern rendition of a polypus. This won't be a problem, will it?
Shouldn't be, as long as it's identifiable as a polypus.
Okay. It looks a little 18th century to me. That's the only reason I'm asking.
It's not like using a rapier where there is a period artifact.
Okay.
So, all right. So names going up and devices going up. Moving right along. Item number 7, Laura Rodriguez Figueroa, resub device. Ghouls, a cow rampant maintaining a frying pan argent, a double treasure ore. This is a resub of a device that got returned a few months ago. It appears to have resolved all of the issues that that were grounds for the return. We had it, if I remember correctly, we had this one conflict checked at Gulf Wars 2, didn't we, Kurt?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. So I haven't found any issues with it. Anyone else find any issues with it?
I kind of like this one more than I do the original.
I do too. It is a more period depiction. I haven't found any issues with it. Anyone else find any issues with it?
I kind of like this one more than I do the original.
Kurt, Alex, is that you again?
No.
Okay. Oh, that may have been Jacques.
Yeah, Jacques is managing to join us.
He gets in and then he goes back out again.
He's been trying.
But yeah, so device appears to be good. I'm going to send it up. All right. Let's see here. Moving along to item number 18. Mael Miri Ingendugal. New device. Quarterly, sable and purpure, an ounce Staten Garden Argent Pellety.
So I'm inclined to agree with Iago's comments. Those pellets look very little.
Yes.
And I'd started on doing a digital redraw of this one also, so I can have you a new one tomorrow that has larger dots, more dots.
I would also recommend moving it down a little bit on the field. It is a little bit high on the shield there.
I could do that.
It's almost on a purple and sable roof. Like a hot cat.
Gotcha.
All right, so I guess we are going to pend that one until we can get submitter approval on the redraw? Are you doing a redraw, Kurt?
Yes.
Okay. So we will pend that. Awaiting a submitter to approve a redraw. All right. Moving along to item number 19. Marius of Phoenix Glade, new name and new device. Starting off with the name, Phoenix Glade is a registered shire. Marius is found in Withycombe. So we've got docs that check out.
I don't like that deprivation.
Hmm. I mean, I can probably.
Nope.
I can document it to Italy in 1521.
No, it's me and Withycombe that I'm having problem with the deprivation on. Nothing else. I was cussing under my breath at Withycombe, not you.
Okay. And I can also find it as a 6th to 7th century name, Byzantine.
He's got an English name and an English shire. I think that works better.
Okay. I'm just saying that I'm having issues finding
you're not
documentation, but mainly because there is an individual named Marius Christiansen who is cited a whole bunch of times in Academy of St. Gabriel reports, so it's filling up all of my results from more sources.
That's because people shouldn't have names.
Anyway, so but I mean, we can document the name. I don't know as if we can document it to 11th century Norman, but
according to Withycombe, Marius has been used occasionally in England since the revival of learning.
Okay.
But he doesn't give a date beyond that.
Okay. Well, we will just leave the documentation alone and let Laurel's staff figure out what that's supposed to mean.
Do you need me to send you this page?
It's the page is cited, page 209. The page is cited in the documentation.
So I'm getting hits for the revival of learning.
Mm-hmm.
Basically 1300s onwards.
Okay.
That may be what E.G. is talking about. I don't know.
It's basically Petrarch. Yeah.
I mean,
that's what I'm getting hits for as revival.
It probably does mean very remote past. It's just it's just not a good date.
But I'm getting hits for the term the revival of learning as 14th century onwards.
Okay.
And Collins Dictionary defines it as the Renaissance as related to learning and literature.
Okay. All right.
So I think this is probably
later than a good bit later than 11th century.
Exactly. We're talking 14th century.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still in period, and he's using a shire name locative, which means it could be any time period.
Right.
So the name is still good. It just isn't 11th century Norman.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, we will leave it be, and send it on up, and maybe we'll get additional documentation. Maybe we won't. But I mean, the name itself is a documentable name, so I don't have any grounds to return.
I think you're right.
All right, so we're gonna advance the name. Moving on to the device. Ghouls, a pile inverted ermine between two badgers combatant, argent marked sable.
So I just did another conflict check, and it still looks good.
Okay. Yeah, it got conflict checked at Gulf Wars. The pile inverted really helps in terms of conflict checks.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one looks good. I have no grounds for returning it.
And I disagree with Michael. I don't have a problem with those ermine spots.
They are quite identifiable as ermine spots.
Yeah, they look like ermine spots to me. Even if they're different, that's part of what happens to ermine spots.
Yep. So device is good. We're sending it up.
Okay. And we have somebody from the Shire of item 20 if we have questions.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead and move on to item number 20. Merwin Fitzallen, new badge. Fieldless on a Norman Helm Azure 2 lightning bolts infest Palewise ore. I was under the impression when the submitter came to me at Gulf Wars that the helm was supposed to be a fronty. I guess they changed their mind. And there is a step from period practice for the use of lightning bolts outside of a thunderbolt.
Yeah, on the colored I mean, I can't tell what this is very well in the line drawing, but when there's tinctures involved, it looks okay to me. But Cypher making them bigger really helped.
The only issue with the making it bigger is that they get obscured in the line drawing because they get obscured by the details of the helmet.
I have a similar problem with the smaller version.
Oh, I agree. But I also agree that in the color version, the redraw is more easily identifiable.
Yes, and this is, by the way, for the Shires, for that chapter's musical group, the Electric Normans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that until she told me.
Well, she told me that at Gulf Wars.
Yes, but you hear more stuff than I do.
I was also doing conflict checks for this one at Gulf Wars, so this was one of those rare moments where it was calmed down enough to where I could actually sit down at the table. All right, so I mean, stylistically, with the redraw, I think we're okay. Like I said, I was under the impression that this was going to be a Norman Helm affronty with the nasal coming down in the middle, which would, in my opinion, make it more easily identifiable as a Norman helm.
I could probably digitally whip that up pretty quickly if you need it.
That makes sense.
And then you have a bit more symmetry to it too. So
I agree.
It's a bit more of a visually appealing device that way.
Okay.
This is this helm was chosen because it's what appears in traceable art.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, the art.
But when I was sitting down with her at Gulf Wars, whenever I was doing my sketches, I was doing the helmet fronty, and she seemed to like that. So that would be something to ask her about whenever we get the redraws done.
Okay, I'll add it to my to-do list tomorrow.
I do remember in the offsite commentary that in the offsite conflict check that someone had presented concerns about neo-Nazi symbolism with the lightning bolts on the helmet until we specified that they are Roman lightning bolts, which look nothing like the SS lightning bolts.
Yeah.
So they should not give that appearance.
Yeah, Shazam would be difficult. Would be much more problematic in this case.
Yes, but I'm pretty sure that we're not allowed to use Shazam anyway.
No,
We are not, even if it's a great movie, because it is.
Hey, Kurt.
Yes.
I actually still have those files because I'm the one that did those for you at Gulf Wars. I can shift that around to a fronty helm.
Okay, if you want to do that, go right ahead and just forward it on to Pennon. Thank you.
I will need contact information, but other than that,
Pennon, PENNON at kingdom.meridias.org.
okay.
Thank you very much.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
All right, so we are going to pend that, awaiting submitter input on redraws. All right, moving along to item number 21, which is the last item on our letter.
Woohoo!
Min Soo Yun, new name and new device. Starting off with the name, it is a Korean name combining family name and constructed given name. Let's see here. So Min is documented to the 1300s. Su is an alternative transliteration of Su SU, in the same source as what's all Herveus's stuff. It's one of Herveus's articles.
Aha.
Dated 1101, and Yun is dated 1360. So it's all within 250 years. It appears to be clear of conflict, and it appears to be correctly constructed.
I think you're right.
So we are going to send the name up.
Yay.
Okay, moving on to the device. Profess engrailed Argent and Azure in chief, a Japanese crane displayed ghouls. We could drop in chief because I think, actually no, we would need that because that is not a forced change. but there does appear to be a conflict. The barony of Stromgard profess engrailed Argent and Azure in chief Abi Ghouls. So we got and wait.
No.
No.
It looks like he used the blazon pattern search form instead of the complex search form, and
yeah,
and that's how he saw that one. But that's an SC for that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I read Yago's post after I opened my mouth, so it's been a long day, guys.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And it's after 10 for you already.
So there is a step from period practice for displaying a non-eagle. But because it is not a forced change of position, we do get a DC for putting it in chief compared to other displayed birds.
And I think this has a nice balance of the intended Oriental style that still fits in with the Western blazon.
Yeah. And I think we're good. I think we are good on the device. And unless anyone else has anything.
Not on the device.
Any issues with it?
Nope. This is my household sister's name.
Okay, so we bounce it and blame it on Finna.
No.
Finna said to return this.
Yeah, we blame it on Finna, we blame it on her peer, and we blame it on her peer's peer.
No, we don't.
7 generations back.
A curse on you, a curse on your father, and a curse on your grandfather, right?
Wait a minute. You don't want to curse me.
Shame on you. Shame on your family. Shame on your cow.
Uh-oh.
Nah. Okay.
All right.
So yeah, we'll go ahead and send that one up.
Just remember, Sarah, I'm your torch grandfather too.
That's very true.
I can't hear it.
So that brings us to the end of this letter.
All right, let's go back to number 15.
Okay.
I have some information.
Okay.
Let's see. Baras says the name practice in that time period, the way he's doing it is wrong.
Okay.
He's got the book he says that he's used when doing Mongol names is The Secret History of the Mongols by Francis Woodman Cleaves. And I can give you guys the actual ISBN for that book. And then he said he can also recommend 2 articles. You should be able to Google. One is SCA, and the other is on the Laurel South page for research. Mongolian Naming Practices by Marta, and one other. And I can send you those, Pennon, to.
Yeah, if you could just drop me an email with that.
Yep, I will. And all that fun stuff. But he said basically how he's doing it, it's very similar to how the Danes did it, is you would always use, the son would use the father's first name as the last name. It would never be son of blank, son of blank. So
it would be blank son.
Yeah.
And okay.
Would it be
because basically he said the submitter, because I didn't use the name,
right,
etc., basically said that Jochi means guest or stranger. And so just like you have Yesugai, which is Ukla, etc., they always had the that was the father's, that was the father's first name, and then because basically it goes through clans instead of son of.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically,
I'll send you all of this so that you can pass that on to the submitter.
Okay.
It ends up being like a lot of
But
Middle
he's
Eastern.
given us a way to do, he was trying to give us a way to do no name, but because of how he's trying to do this, it just won't go. But at least we can save the badge and get the badge going.
Right. Because he does, the submitter does have a registered name.
Yes, yes. And I know who you're talking about.
We'll be able to send up the badge under the registered name.
And I'll send you all of that tomorrow morning.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Did he comment on the translation of the name from nobody?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't have it. He said that's a very Western form of the name.
Okay. I would be interested to know whether that would be whether that's an allowable Mongolian name.
Not that he could find.
Understandable.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So that brings us to the end of this month's letter. Thank you, everybody, for coming in and helping with commentary tonight. Thank you for everyone who watched on the YouTube live stream.
We're up to like 6.
Excellent.
Excellent.
So next month's decision meeting is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, May 28th.
That's next year's, actually.
What's that?
Next year.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it's Societatis 54.
Yes, because May 1st is our birthday.
Yep.
Took me a
Took me a
minute.
moment.
At least it's after. At least it's the Tuesday after Artsy Crown.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I've already got the translation done.
So
Yay.
yes, it is.
So I've got to learn how to say more Roman numerals now.
That's right.
Yay.
So next month's meeting is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, May 28th. So I will hopefully be seeing all of you then.
Yeah.
So once again, thank you everybody who came out tonight. Good night and see you next month.
Bye, everyone.